Patricia Gibson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. There is no doubt that we are facing a cost of living crisis, with universal credit to be cut by £20 per week, negatively impacting 10,406 of my North Ayrshire and Arran constituents and 400,000 people across Scotland, with a national insurance hike hitting those on the lowest incomes, with energy prices expected to soar by at least £139 for millions of households, with 16,500 jobs in Scotland still on furlough. That's 5% of all those who were furloughed, with exports from the UK falling by a staggering €16 billion, down 17.1% in the first 7 months of this year, with the ending of free movement disrupting supply chains, leading to empty supermarket shelves and higher prices. Madam Deputy Speaker, I could go on, but it really does feel like the end of days. But I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the Ardrossan and Largs and other food banks in my constituency and all the voluntary organisations who are supporting those in North Ayrshire and Arran who are in financial distress and who will fall into financial distress as a result of the universal credit cut. But apparently it seems that none of these soaring prices and empty supermarket shelves are a consequence of Brexit. No, it's a consequence of COVID, or it's global, or it's the bogeyman. It's the fault of anything or anyone except the rabid Brexiteers on the Tory benches. Of course there are global issues at play, of course there are. But to suggest that the disruption to our economy is nothing to do with Brexit is complete nonsense. We have a shortage of HGV drivers, we have shortages of food packagers, and we have a shortage of staff in food processing plants. And it's time that that was faced up to. I was told yesterday by the Secretary of State for Business that there's no point in talking about the consequences of Brexit, as it would be refighting the battles of 5 years ago. That might explain why we're being told that Brexit has nothing to do with our empty supermarket shelves, which incidentally no other country in the EU is experiencing. Global factors apparently affect the UK uniquely. So we can all understand the scepticism with which the Business Secretary's words were met with yesterday when he said there would be no energy shortage this winter. The truth is, we cannot believe a word this government says. This is the government that told us there would be no food shortages, no price rises, no fall in exports. The sunny uplands which they presented as their vision of Brexit has become the nightmare about which we warned. The harsh and cruel reality is that food prices are up, energy prices are up, inflation is up, pensioner poverty is up, child poverty is up, taxes are up, regressive as they are, and the Tory response to this cost of living crisis is to cut universal credit. And today, the debate that we're having is about poverty. Poverty prevents people from reaching their potential. It prevents children from achieving their best in school. It robs people of their good mental health. It robs people of their physical health. It is corrosive. It grinds people down and ultimately it kills them. And I remember when this government used to pretend to care about the just about managing. But now they seem to care for the just about managing just as much as they care for those who live in deep poverty. And today we hear that the National Audit Office has discovered that the DWP has underpaid 134,000 pensioners by over £1 billion in state pension. And of course, those disproportionately affected are women. With the energy price cap rise, it will be a cold winter for many of my constituents in North Ayrshire and Arran. But it is willfully and deliberately being made colder by this universal cut of £1,040 per year by this government. Shame on them. Such a callous disregard for poverty shows with crystal clarity that the party opposite is not fit to govern. And it would be laughable if it were not so serious This bumbling Prime Minister who pledged to restore trust in our institutions and in how our democracy operates. That's big talk from a Prime Minister who breaks pledges with ease, is struggling to keep the lights on, and has insisted, despite the evidence to the contrary, that child poverty is falling. A view brought to you by the same Prime Minister who said Brexit would lower energy prices. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I remember 2012, and I remember the Honourable Lady for Mid-Bedfordshire dismissing the former Prime Minister David Cameron and the former Chancellor George Osborne as, and I quote, two arrogant posh boys with no passion to want to understand the lives of others. And I would like to ask anybody in the opposite benches if they would care to tell me what has changed. If it was true of the Prime Minister and the Chancellor then, by God, how much truer is it now? So I wonder what they would think of that. The Prime Minister said only today, and this will put the fear of God into you, the Prime Minister said only today that it will not be a tough winter.
Not for him.
Well, let's hope for once. Let's hope for once that he is right about something for once in his life, because we know that for too many in our constituencies it will indeed be a tough winter. This government is not fit to govern, and in their mouths the so-called global Britain is not just an illusion, it is a laughingstock, it is a hollow phrase that means nothing to those who are struggling. And that's why so many of us in Scotland are sick to the back teeth of this cruel, nonsensical incompetence. We can and will take our future in our own hands and build a fairer, more equal, more compassionate society in an independent Scotland. And then, Madam Deputy Speaker, then we can really start to see what levelling up looks like instead of this shoddy window dressing that we see before us.